my gosh, the slow burn of this romance. I felt like a teen again listening to this book. I was kicking my feet, squealing, screaming, giggling like a little girl. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I, a sophisticated reader, got myself into this situation. Well, it all started when I thought, what would make a good YouTube video? I am a literary fiction girl. I am. I'll do the occasional other genres. I've read some sci-fi. I'll read some fantasy sometimes. I will read a thriller, a mystery. Love those for a little palate cleanser. But my main genre is literary fiction. What I never read is young adult fiction. Why? Why don't I read it? Everyone else is reading it. It's time for me to read it. Just read it, Mallory. Just freaking read it. Okay, I have about 30 minutes before I sweat my ass off. The idea is to get some young adult novels. I want to relive that teenage magic, baby. Stop one is the library, which is right here. I looked it up and they have the inheritance games, which I'm interested in. Sounds, kind of like the Hunger Games, which is what I read when I was in high school. So let's go get it. Got the goods, now to another library to get those second goods. God, it's freaking hot. I feel like I'm about to go on some adventures with these books. This is gonna be very ooh, I'm in another world. I'm gonna be a teen again. Okay, I'm feeling good. So I've got 4 books. I've got the inheritance games. This is tagged as mystery fantasy. Okay. I've got the Cruel Prince. Seen this everywhere. Think this is romance fantasy. I have the Black Queen. This is realistic mystery. It was recommended to me by someone. And then I got If He Had Been With Me on audiobook, so I'll be listening to that throughout while I'm reading these. So I have this theory that the reason all the booktube girls can read 100,000 books a year is because young adult is faster to read. Maybe because fast-paced equals read faster? I just feel like that has to be true. They're just 1 book a day. On to the next, on to the next. It's gotta be that these books you can just read faster somehow. It's just a theory, but we're gonna test it. I have not read books like this. I have thought that it probably isn't for me. I am just not the target audience. I probably won't enjoy them. But as the minute draws near that I'm about to open one of these books, I am feeling kind of excited. The way I felt reading books when I was a teen, reading fantasy, exciting, fast-paced, Hunger Games, Divergent, Uglies, Pretties. Anyone remember that series? That series was good. That feeling, I'm open to that feeling. I loved that feeling. I don't know why I haven't given young adult books a chance. I think let's go with this first. Lush, dangerous, a dark jewel of a book. Okay, I'm down. Maybe I'm just tired, but so far, I'm a little bored. I don't know why. I feel like I should be into this, but I'm just a little tired trying to follow along here. Or said to oh, what? Because of who? I don't know what that means, but am I dumb for not being able to follow this? Popping in to say something as I'm reading. I feel like I want to see more of the fighting and the battling happening. She talks about how she's good with a sword and she likes to train and she wants to be a knight. And so we're in this battle. It's this, tournament. And she describes the first bout of the tournament in 2 sentences. I want to see it. Let's hear about it, she swings left, she swings right, dodge, parry. I feel like that's the most exciting. I want to hear about it. That's exciting. That's the good stuff,
Yeah, the bodybuilding, there's just a lot of ways you can structure that. But as long as there's a structure.
Okay, I'm driving to the gym. Okay, so The Cruel Prince. I think I like it, but I will say something about it. I'm not gripped yet. I'm not addicted yet. I think I could get there. So we're following Jude, this human girl who, at the beginning, her parents get killed, and her and her twin sister, and then her older sister, who's half fairy, all get taken to fairyland by their fairy dad. I think that fairyland is fun. It's great world building. We're learning about all these different kind of creatures, these nixes and these hobgoblins and whatever the hell else. I'm not there yet. I'm not like, I can't put this book down. Well, I'm not even like, I want to keep reading. No, I do want to keep reading. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. Oh, it's just so new for me. Whatever, I'm getting there. But one thing, I want to know if anyone else has felt this. I just can't quite get some of the dialogue and some of the scenarios. It just is a little weird to me. Because, and I'm trying to put this into words, but I think my problem is that I do not quite understand the intensity of some situations. Like, there's this part where her enemy, Cad, what's his name? I forgot. I'll put it in. Okay, so enemy throws Taryn and Jude into the river, and he's like, the Nixies are gonna grab you and pull you down to the bottom and drown you. I just can't quite understand, like, is this a dire situation? Like, are we about to die? I don't know, it's just weird. Like, why are we not that concerned? And I feel like there have been a few situations where I'm like, the dialogue is not quite making sense in my head for what is happening. Does that make sense? But I'm waiting to be converted, and I want to be converted. I want to be someone who enjoys a young adult fantasy every now and then. Who doesn't? It seems so fun. Am I really one of those girls that is just like running on iced coffee fumes? That's embarrassing. Okay, I just finished chapter 10, and I think I'm into it. Something exciting just happened. I feel like that was kind of a good chapter. I felt very into it. We could turn around. I won't say that I'm convinced, but I'll say that I'm intrigued. Thoughts are, I gave it 3 stars. First thought I want to express, I'm not totally sure what it is, but something about this book is unsatisfying. I was just left always having a question, like, why did she say that? Or like, that was a weird turn in the conversation, or why isn't she asking this? The other thing I thought throughout this is like, yes, it's all politics and intrigue, but I felt like the stakes were a little made up. Everyone's like killing each other, trying to be king, but why? What does the king do? Who are the kingdom's enemies? What is the point? Like, at one point she goes, do you think things will be better after Prince Dane is king? And my first thought was, better than what? Like, what's going on? What's wrong? It's just a little vague for my taste. Some pros to this book. I think I did overall enjoy this book, especially near the end. It started picking up and I was really enjoying it. I was curious, what's gonna happen? The thing that was most interesting about this book, in my opinion, is the main character, Jude. She's kind of got this internal struggle with being morally gray, and at first I didn't like that about her, but then I ended up thinking that it was kind of interesting. There's a scene at the beginning where she like beats the hell out of a mortal boy for like literally no reason. She just like sucker punches him, and I was like, okay, are we supposed to like our main character? But then I kind of came around to like this idea that I don't think she's supposed to be a good person, and I think that that is her internal struggle as well. She's constantly like, what's the right thing to do? Does she care about the right thing to do, or does she just care about power? Yeah, I think that for the most part though, this book will just kind of fade out of my memory and I won't really think about it again. Moving on. The next book I'm gonna read is The Black Queen. It's about the first Black homecoming queen in this high school in Mississippi, and she gets murdered. Homecoming killed her, and then it's like a mystery to find out who murdered her. I like mysteries, so let's get into it. My office is an absolute mess, but I have just a little bit left of my book, so I'm gonna read. Done. Let me gather my thoughts and come back to you. This book was like Pretty Little Liars meets Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's a murder mystery full of high school drama and mean girls, like mean girls. But the most central theme in this book is race relations. That is ultimately like the point of the book. It's this high school and it is drastically divided between black kids and white kids. The black kids, basically their neighborhood got rerouted to this white high school after Hurricane Katrina, so that's kind of why there's such this big divide. And all the white kids, it seems like they are at like millionaire level status, living in huge houses with circle driveways, and everyone's daddy runs in circles with everyone else's daddy, and all the black kids are like living across town in like the poorer neighborhoods. That's kind of the setup. Everyone is horrible, saying like openly racist things, dragging each other down, making fun of people for being poor. I think about halfway through the mystery started getting pretty good and I was like really getting invested, and I didn't see the end coming. I didn't. So overall, I enjoyed it. I think it was like a 3.5. I just think it was a little tiring to read about so much trauma and tension. And I think the characters were a little bit, I think they were hyperbolized and a little bit cliche. It was basically bitchy white teens, bitchy white privileged teens against traumatized, tired of being tokenized, resentful black teens. It's written between these two perspectives of a black girl and a white girl. And so we were getting both perspectives, but God, the white girl is horrible. She's like, I use fear and rumors to bring down my enemies. Who is that honest to themselves about their own internal motivations? Like, I am a bitch and I love it. I did enjoy the mystery. I enjoyed it, the Nancy Drew type sleuthing going on and figuring out all the town secrets. Okay, last physical book I'm gonna read is The Inheritance Games. I probably also need to start my audiobook pretty soon, but I'm listening to The Hobbit on audiobook and I'm trying to finish that first. But I will start The Inheritance Games today. I'm going to see the Barbie movie. Oh, it's so hot. I'm going to see the Barbie movie. I'm gonna listen to my audiobook on the way. Let's start this audiobook. Immediately, both these books are so good. The Inheritance Games, immediate mystery, gotta know what's happening. So much is happening so fast. I'm so invested. I like the characters. So far, it's great. If He Had Been With Me, I am really enjoying it. I feel very invested. My favorite thing about this book is I feel like the author does a very good job of capturing what it feels like to be a teen. I just feel like she is doing it so well. Like, I feel like I've read so many books or seen so many shows where it's just cliche. But this, it feels very real. Like, we're in this perspective of this girl. Her best friend from childhood is this boy. It's her neighbor and also her mom's best friend's son. And so they're very close as families. Like, they grow up and basically in like 7th grade, they kind of drift apart and start, you know, being their own people and finding their own friend groups. It feels like these real kind of relationships and real reactions to these awkward situations and stuff. Oh, like there's this part at the beginning where she basically goes into a Claire's and finds a tiara and tries it on and is like basically like, maybe I'm gonna make tiaras my thing. And it's super weird and other people think it's weird. And I just feel like that's such a teen. Like I don't know if I would have specifically done that, but I would have done something like that. I love to wear stupid, goofy things because I was trying to find something interesting and unique to make myself look unique at school. I don't know. It feels young and I like that. We're not in Euphoria world. This girl she's a sophomore and she's never been drunk. Like this is real teen world and I like it. Good morning. Last night I finished If He Had Been With Me. I was so addicted to that book. It was just a really simple story, but it was told really, really well. I really liked, I look like a samurai. I really liked the author. I really liked her writing. It was super addicting, super fast-paced, even though it was simple. Like, there was not that much going on. There was so much going on at the same time. I had another thought. Oh yeah, I feel like you could possibly think her writing style is like juvenile, but I don't know, that's what I expected going into young adult. I read a lot of Goodreads reviews after and found out that A lot of people, a lot of people did not like it as much as I did. It was good. Like, okay, I also do want to talk about the end. So if you haven't read it, skip to here because I want to be talking about spoilers right now. Because really any part of the romance, like the real romance, is a spoiler because it doesn't happen until the very end. And I mean, you know it's gonna happen, but at the same time, like, it's so at the end. It had me kicking my feet. Oh my gosh. The slow burn of this romance. I felt like a teen again listening to this book. I was kicking my feet, squealing, screaming. It had me giggling like a little girl. And the end didn't make me cry. I don't cry during books, but it was very sad. I felt like my one critique is that the end felt very rushed. And the pregnancy was a little cliche. But still, at the end, I was like, this is how I make my coffee. Literally like an old man. Everyone has an espresso or a Keurig. Why do I drink old man coffee in a pot? I don't know. Love it. Morning cup of joe. Okay, I wouldn't give it 5 stars. Maybe like a 4.5. It wasn't the best book I've ever read. But you know, not all like 4.5, 5-star books are on the same level. Some are gonna be like my favorite books. I don't think this is my favorite book. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But I do think it was really good. I don't know why I have to defend the fact that I like this book. Stop talking about it. Just stop. Going to the gym, looking like a rat. May or may not read the Inheritance Game on the treadmill. Probably not, but bringing it just in case I feel so inclined. Just gotta sneak these little vlogging moments in wherever I can get them. So another little car sesh, still very much at the beginning of the book. So this girl, she inherits this random dude's $1 billion fortune. She's not sure why, right? And there are 4 grandsons who expected to get the money but didn't. And so she shows up and there's obviously like a little bit of attraction between her and the 17-year-old and the 19-year-old. Like there is at least 1, probably 2 love interests in this book. Probably a little love triangle. Anyways, immediate attraction. She's like, ooh, I shouldn't be looking at him like that. Ooh, the way he got close to me just there, my whole body felt tingly wingly. And you know, it's fun, but it's also funny because there's like this little plot where it's like, let's just film everything at our destination while we're parked, shall we? So there's this little plot where she's like, but what if this man gave me all his money because I'm actually his illegitimate daughter? What if I should really not be looking at these boys because they are my brothers? And I think that it would be so hilarious if it turned out to be true. I feel like there's just no way in hell that that's gonna happen. Like they're taking a DNA test and I just know for a fact it's gonna come back that she's not his son. That would be first way too obvious and really boring. There's supposed to be this big mystery here. And then second, like we have this love triangle brewing. She obviously can't be related. But wouldn't it be so freaking funny if she was? Honestly, I would respect this book. I would respect the hell out of this book if it's just like bomb dropped. Yeah, you're related. So stop looking at them when they're shirtless. So avert your eyes. And that would just be so hilarious. So I finished my last book last night, The Inheritance Games. Like I finished like this much all last night. I stayed up late reading it and I like that feeling, you know, like that's what I was like craving for my childhood, was like that feeling of like, oh, I gotta finish it, I gotta know what happens. This was a definite 4-star book. The one thing is that I didn't really vibe with the romance that much. I don't know why. There wasn't anything particularly wrong with it. It just felt pretty obvious, I guess. Maybe a little repetitive. Every time one of these boys was in the room with her, she was just like, my body had shivers because he was so close to me. And something about that just wasn't like my style. I can totally see people loving this and like loving the love going on, but for me personally, just wasn't doing anything. As a 26-year-old woman, I just wasn't feeling those feelings. And that's okay. That's okay. But for being fast-paced, fun, mystery, like easily so digestible and readable, just having a ton of fun the whole way through, yes. And then it really set it up at the end for the second book. It makes you want to keep reading. As my first foray back into young adult literature, I had a lot of fun. I was having fun. My favorite was obviously If You Had Been With Me. I still feel somewhat embarrassed that I liked that book so much, but I don't need to be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed for because it was good, because it was a fun little romp in a teenage cutesy life with a little bit of a heartbreaking John Green-esque story that reminds me of my reading journey when I was 16 and I wanted to be the girl in Fault in Our Stars in Paper Towns, but better because it wasn't as pretentious and silly and no one had a cigarette in their mouth as a metaphor. They just had a tiara on their head and that's okay. Anyways, what am I talking about? This was fun. Okay. I just realized I forgot to address my little theory about are young adult novels faster to read, and the verdict was barely. Like, yes, yes, but not that much. I think I'm just a slow reader.